Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry, and we are here for another Speakers Magazine show. And we have a guest today, Priscilla Dames, and she is a speaker and a trainer who actually had a day named after her in the Miami area, Priscilla Dames Day. It was on April 12th, I believe. And you're going to hear all about all the things that she's done over her career. And one of the main things is we're going to talk about intention, transition, which at for anyone at any age is always hard. People are always just afraid of change. With her being the gift of teaching and really the being a trainer and conflict resolution and all of the things, you're going to hear a little bit about how to really make those intentional transitions of really, I guess you talk about jacking yourself up for intentional transformation. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So you will be really glad to hear from Priscilla Dames right after this. As promised, this is Priscilla Danes. Welcome to the Speakers Magazine. So she's actually going to be in our May issue, which is not out yet. I'm gonna try and maybe, no, I'll just leave it. So you go to speakersmagazine.com and actually see it at this time. I was going to try and do a screen share, but I won't do that. So we're really talking today about jacking yourself up for intentional transformation. But before we do that, why was your city, I guess you would say, name you your own day on April 12th?
That was so exciting to me. Um, I think it was because, in fact, I know it was because I was so involved with the community. At one time in Miami-Dade County, I was so involved with the Black Affairs Advisory Board that the executive director of advocacy actually offered me an office in the government center, and I actually turned it down because I didn't want to owe him or anyone anything, because my whole purpose, the Black Affairs Advisory Board's purpose, was to be there and be a voice for the Black constituents. And that's the whole world constituents in Miami-Dade, not just African Americans, but we have Haitian Americans, we have the Africans, all Black folks. And I was so involved at one time that they did see fit, the mayor and the commissioners did see fit to name a day after me, proclaim that day Priscilla Dames Blake Day. I
Oh my
was
God.
outdone.
That is good. That is good. So you've been an activist for a lot of your career, community activist, a trainer. Conflict resolution is really the main things. There's so much conflict going on in the world today. People talk about road rage, people talk about gun control, but you really got into conflict resolution, and that kind of was like your place where you stayed. But there's something that I want Speakers Magazine to know about, that you had a transition, that you hit a milestone birthday. Do you want me to say it or no?
Oh, that I have no problem saying that
Okay.
I'm 70.
Okay, she hit a milestone birthday, right? She hit a milestone birthday. 70. She does not look 70. So she hit a milestone birthday, and I think you were celebrating Belize. Was that one of this? Did
That's I'm going to celebrate in Belize this coming September.
okay,
But
okay.
that was truly a milestone, and I just thank God that He allowed me to live this long. But there's so many things that have been happening during these past few years. It's a roller coaster. It's so exciting.
So one of the main things is that you got certified. I want to say the gentleman's name is Dr. James Gordon. So you did that, and intentional transformation. I'm all about attention. That setting intentions are really important, and you made an intention about your health. and you've lost almost 100 pounds. So I'm gonna put that out there because you look great, you look fabulous. But tell people really a lot of the why you went and got the certification with Dr. James Gordon.
Um, that was interesting, Pam, because I thought some of what I decided to do after some research was going to be a little bit easier than I expected it to be. For an example, health was one of the areas I knew I needed to lose some weight, but not just lose weight. I needed to work on my health in
Mhm,
general. I'm
mhm,
still working on the health piece because when you say health, it really is this big. So I initially thought I was going to walk with some girlfriends, I was going to be on a diet program, and
yeah,
on and on and on. And I tried that like most people. It just did not work. Old habits are very, very difficult um, to break. And
mhm,
so I learned that number one, I needed to work on my self care. So when I found out about mind body medicine, and that was founded by a Dr. James Gordon, I actually applied as a community activist, as a community leader,
okay, good
and
for you.
it actually was free. And so initially I thought I was going to go to a few workshops and learn how to do self care, take care of my own body, my own mind. But once I took a couple of classes, I learned that, oh my goodness, this program was so worthwhile. It would be of an assistance to all the people in my audience. And at that time, it was just before COVID when I
Mhm,
decided to make some changes. So I said the people that are in my audience generally are facing some type of conflict in their lives. And so I thought it would be valuable for them. So I really became so immersed in mind body medicine. The first thing it teaches you basically is how to breathe and then to meditate. I
mhm,
learned through an interview like this one that Van Jones had with Oprah, and he asked Oprah, "You've got to be doing something differently than everyone else. What do you think it is?" And Oprah immediately, without hesitation, said,
mm,
meditate.
meditation. Mhm,
Meditate. And
mhm,
she meditates every single morning, and that starts her day off correctly on a positive note. So I
wow,
had to learn how to meditate, how to take care of myself. And that's my mind, the body, and all those things, even how to breathe. There's a certain way you have to breathe to do
mhm.
that correctly. And I really immersed myself into that.
And one of the main things is biblical. You know, they always say there's a spirit, which is first, the soul, which is the mind, will, and emotions, and the body. And so many times when people say, "Well, I'm gonna take care of my health, I'm gonna exercise, and that's gonna be the intention. I'm gonna take my apple cider vinegar. I'm going to,
That too. I did that too. I'm still doing that. I'm
I'm
still
gonna do
doing
the
that.
keto. I'm gonna do all the things, right?" And it's like that's the body part. But then it's also the mind, which you deal with when you deal with conflict resolution. It's the emotions, right? If the emotions
Yes.
are raging, if you're angry, if the emotions are raging. I mean, it's so so you can't really then the spirit, and that's really where the peace is, and then you have the settling, you have the meditation, you have the creativity from the creator. And I always say that people always say, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of my body, I'm gonna take care of my mind," but it's like, no, it's spirit, soul, and body. Okay. And it's like it falls in line with that. And so did the weight kind of just start dropping? I mean, I saw some pictures of you. You were doing some jogging, you had on some AKA outfit, you were doing something. I don't know what you were doing. I was like, look at this. But it felt like you got like a new when you made that decision to with the attention with your health, that everything just kind of started flowing in place. And you got this big girls trip coming up in September too. So tell us
Yes, and
about
I'd like to talk about that, but, one of the things that I had to decide, when I say jack myself up, I really did have to jack myself up more
that. I
than
use that term
once,
a lot too.
more than once, um, because with the health piece, you say you're going to lose weight, and maybe you begin to lose weight, and I did, I began to lose, but it's much bigger than that. To really get yourself in order, I needed to learn about self care.
Mm,
So, one of the things that Oprah said that I did implement was she gave herself some time every single day. So now, and I'm still doing it a couple of years later, from 8 to 10, I do no business. I don't listen to the radio or
news,
television,
no news.
no
Mhm.
news whatsoever.
It's always
Um,
bad.
there's always something positive that I listen to. I love Mary J. Blige's Good Morning Gorgeous
Yes, I do too.
because she starts off just saying, it's not about how pretty you are. She's saying you don't have to put on makeup, you don't have to do your hair. She said, just accept yourself the way you are
Mhm,
and just say to yourself, good morning, gorgeous. So I
mhm,
have implemented those 2 hours that no negativity whatsoever. It could be about plumbing, anything. I don't want to hear anything negative. And I
mhm,
listen to the music. I do my own exercise. I
mhm.
read from my devotional,
Do you
and it
journal?
is only positive. Yes, I journal.
Okay.
I really believe in journaling.
I just got a new journal the other day. I'm just put this up here, but this one is for people who are going through grief, and it's a healing journal, and it's like it's a journey. Anybody who has lost anyone, whether it's a mother or father, anything like that, but it offers support as you travel through your grief, and it's so personal. It's very personal. So, a lot of times when and you know this too from doing trainings and things like that, it takes a while for you can learn something, but it's going to take a while for it to catch on. So same thing
Yes.
with grieving. People will tell you certain things that you need to do, but it's a journey because it takes a while for people to you never really truly get over it, but just life is just change. And also too, it could be a loss. It could be a loss. Maybe no one's physical, they're still physically there, but they're lost, like you were dealing with your mom and being a caregiver. A caregiver, it's a journey. It's being that's a whole nother journey that you don't know about it until you're in it.
You're going to have to give me the name of that because Sunday, one of the things I am presently working on is my relationships with girlfriends coming out of COVID.
Mm,
Because for COVID, I was very, very strict. No one came to my home. I didn't do
right.
a lot of visiting. I was very concerned about my husband and my three parents
Mhm,
because they were declining. So I was very strict. So now it's having to touch bases again with those ladies that I
mhm.
want those relationships to continue with. And one of them's husband passed after almost
Um,
50 years, and it's
oh,
this Sunday. And I
mm,
picked her up and took her to brunch. I said, "Do something spontaneous. Come go to
mm.
brunch with me."
Yeah,
And
and
so
that's the
I'm
Christian
going to have to
journey.
get that book from
Yes,
you.
and it's a journal, and then it also comes with little cards as well, so you can pull them out, and it'll have like little things like meditate or journal or think about what were some of their favorite meals, what were some of their favorite shows, what were because a
That
lot
would
of
be
times you want to
great.
talk about it and remember it, even if you don't want to remember it with other people, you want to remember it for yourself because you're going through
Yes.
the journey. And
Yes.
I will definitely, Dr. Portia Lockett, I think you know her. She created this because she lost her son, and so she went through a transition, intentional transition. She went to a grief counselor, and again, kind of like with you, you went for yourself, and then you
Mhm.
become certified in it, and you just realize how you can help others. It's just funny how God just kind of works like that, right? Because you could be doing something for like 40 years, and then there's something that hits a bump in the
Yeah.
road, causes you
Yes.
to change, and then it's like this is the thing that I'm going to do now. This is like your new pivot, so to speak, because you have that that way where you're going to learn something and you probably just can't help it. You're going to teach it because that's what you do. You're going to that's your gift.
And, I've decided to call it that because the word transformation is out there everywhere. The word intentional is out there everywhere. I can't get away from those because that's exactly what I did.
Mhm.
But I've decided to say pivot. You said the word pivot, pivot and change your life. And
Yes, yes.
that's what I want to encourage people to do. And whatever kind of change that they think they need, it may be health, it may be business, it may be your personal
Technology,
lifestyle. Yes, yes. So
technology is
whatever.
changing. Hmm.
Mhm, mhm.
The
So
thing that
whatever it is.
yeah, it's so funny because you have did a book with Kim Coles as well. That was
I
during
had that.
COVID. Yeah, do you have that?
Yeah.
This is gifts. And so the gift, I think it's gratitude, intention. So intention is your word. That's really like
Yes.
the word intentional. But you did the book, and you're on the
That's
back.
my
There you go.
picture.
Oh, cool. I love Kim. I love Kim. And books, and I love books anyway. Books change people's lives. They
Yeah.
really do. And nothing wrong with video. Obviously, we're listening to a podcast and we're doing a video and that kind of thing. But when you sit with the book, it's more solitary. You work more of your neurons in your brain more when you're reading than if you're just taking it passively by watching or listening. So I love books. Definitely, we can get that on Amazon as well. And then you have another book that 99 conflicts to avoid and 100. 100 okay, give me the subtitle. 99 conflicts.
99 conflicts to avoid, 100 ways to resolve them.
Come
And
on now.
this was one of my by the way, the last way, the 100 is to pray. My mother said, I listened to my mom. She said, make sure you put prayer in
I
there.
know that's
And
right.
so the 100th way is make sure that you pray on it.
That is it.
Um,
That is
and
so
and
good.
this book was one of
Bestseller.
the items that I th- listed as one of my goals, and that's one of the things I knocked out of the park because I actually had at least one goal in each one of the three areas that you already mentioned, and one was to finish this book because this book had been just sitting on the shelf for 6 years. That was
Mhm.
forever. And
Mhm.
so not only did I finish that book, I went on and created with one of the people that you suggested to me, Wingspan Academy. So I
Mhm.
didn't just learn how to create a webinar, but I also created a whole um, new method of
Mhm.
putting my conflict resolutions in a format so people could actually buy the class.
That's it. That is one of the things. I want people to know that they can go there. That is the website there, wingspanseminars.net. Wingspan from where did you okay, I always this is always interesting how people pick their names. So how did Wingspan? Why Wingspan Seminars? Because you could have called it Priscilla uh seminars or what I mean, why Wingspan? So give us a significant of why you wanted to choose that.
I really believe in spreading your wings and flying.
Yes.
And so initially, I was going to pick an eagle and put an eagle in the middle of my logo.
Hmm.
But then I decided, well, since my base is conflict resolution, I needed to put peace because I was so involved, a peace dove, because I
Hmm.
was so involved with peace initiatives at
Hmm.
that time, and so was my daughter. So I decided to name it Wingspan Seminars because I still love the idea of flying and spreading your wings, and I'm very adventurous. And I I added as one of the components wings on youth, but especially um, wings on women. And so I've gotten
Ah.
so very involved with
Mhm.
women. And the summit in Belize is W.O.W, is Wings on Women. It's the ultimate girls trip.
I love that. I love that. So there's a friend of ours that is actually in Belize right now as we speak. So this is a podcast, it's live, but Kadena Tate is in Belize for her birthday, and I was like, okay, well, she's there celebrating with her partner, with her man. I said, but you've got to come back for the girls trip in September with Priscilla. So that is one of the things. And you've been there before, and that you've done trainings and things like that there. So, but if you go to wingspanseminars.net, they'll have the flyer will come up, and all the information is there for them to go. Speaking of which, so you were talking about girlfriends. So I don't know if you saw this special with Oprah and Michelle Obama, but they finished the tour. It was like they finished the tour, The Light We Carry. And so LA was the last tour. Oprah was the last interview on Michelle. And they kind of went through the whole thing about how they had a kitchen table of girlfriends. And they talked about how things were different during COVID. And and Michelle said that her kitchen table was like her best friends of about 12 women, and Oprah was like 12. She said, "What are you like, Jesus and the disciples?" She said, "I have one, and that's Gail." So, in terms of relationships, and I know that's really important to you because you're doing a lot in conflict resolutions and things like that. In terms of your kitchen table, what do you how many people do you have at your kitchen table? Because you were saying you're since COVID, people don't see each other. So, how many women are at your quote unquote kitchen table, or friends? It could be men or women.
Um, there are two things, two types of people that I'm trying to make sure I'm being intentional. I'm trying to make sure that everybody understands that it doesn't just happen. You must have a support system, and you
Mhm.
must have coaches
Yeah.
like yourself,
Yeah.
and you must have truth tellers.
Yes.
And so you need those two people. So you don't just need girlfriends that are just yes girls.
Mm-mm.
You need the type of people that truly support you and are going to tell you the truth.
Mhm. People that
Um,
see you. Yep, that's true. People that
and
see you and your potential.
I'm now being very, very selective about the organizations that I want to put back into place in my life, boards, and also the people. Right this minute, even though we're trying to act like we've come out of COVID, we're still walking out of it. And so I'm doing it very gingerly and making sure that those women that support me and I support, I'm making sure that they know that I love them and that I touch bases with them no matter where they are. They're not all living in the same city. So
Mhm.
that is one of the things I'm being very, very intentional about.
And two, one of the things, Priscilla, that I found is just like in relationships, male and female, or together, that people have different love languages, right? So you hear about the language of some people like words and some people like gifts or whatever, they do physical. And so you have to know your friends well enough to know what their love language is. And so I remember one time, mine is obviously words. So I'm always giving people books, and this it's just my thing. It's my love language. I love words. And so I remember one time giving again another person a gift, right? A book. I think it was Christmas or their birthday. And she looks at me. She says, "I love you." She says, "But I don't read these books."
Because
She said, "I don't like books." She says, "I put them in my library." She said, "But I don't read them." I was like, "Ah." She says, "I don't read them." She says, "I just want to spend time with you." That's her thing. She says, "I just want to spend time. You don't have to read." I was like, "Okay." Because some people like time, some people like words, some people like gifts.
it
She
was
was
good
like,
that she felt comfortable enough to tell you that.
"Yes, yes." So what is your love language?
I love books. I love books and I love music. One of my rooms in my house, my husband and I calls it a media room. There's no television. One whole side of the room is all of his albums and they're categorized in everything. My side, the whole side of the wall is all books. And I have on the wall, see the world through books. And
Hmm.
the other half of the wall, I have hear the world through music.
I love
And
that.
and we just go in there and sit on, as old as we are, just
Mhm.
sit on the floor and listen to music
I
and
love it.
fall asleep in there sometimes.
Oh my
Yes.
god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I
Jazz,
love gospel. I
gospel. Okay.
Now I appreciate jazz much more than I did when I was younger. And
Mhm.
so R&B, I love R&B. But gospel music, I'll stick with that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of like my favorite. If there's any person, well, I'm from Detroit, any person that I would love to have like a personal concert with, it would be CC Winans, right? It was like she's like the angelic voice from heaven. It's like, oh my God, CC Winans. Well, all the Winans and the Clark sisters and all, we're from Detroit, so it's kind of like that whole thing. But I like the fact that the book is coming out, Jacking Yourself Up for Intentional Transformation. You speak on that. You're going to have hopefully the book will be out by September
Yes.
by the
Mhm.
girls trip. So that will
Mhm.
be a really good way to have a book and maybe a workbook or a journal and that sort of thing. I'll make sure that I'll send you the for your friend that whose husband passed, because 50 years is kind of like, I mean,
It's a
that's
long
like
time.
that's longer than they
That's
knew
right.
anybody. Yeah, so
That's
it's
right.
really a hard thing. It's like you I can't even imagine, because they were probably just so one together.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that, but I also just want to just thank you for all the pivots that you make and the light that you bring to the world, the books, the courses, the Wingspan Academy seminars, the whole academy, all the things that you do, the creativity of when you're sitting still and meditating, you're probably creating other things as well. It's like, okay, I've got to get to that. I get to that. And it's just inspiration. Hitting the big milestone birthday and not slowing down, not
And
resigning.
we're gonna celebrate my birthday party at the summit in Belize. I've
Yes,
decided that we're gonna
yes.
have a big birthday party. And if I could talk about that just for a minute, there are two strands. It's not really like a retreat. There are two different strands, and one is for business or if you're interested in land acquisition. So I have a couple of sponsors that will do that with those ladies, and then the other strand is just called silly fun. If you want
Hmm.
to go to relax or just do excursions, if you want to zip line or
Oh,
cave tube. So
so you're
both
ziplining at
strands.
70?
Yes,
Oh my God. Okay, you are my
I,
hero, 'cause
I just
I
did in
wouldn't even
Costa
zip line
Rica.
at 40, so I know I'm not gonna do it at 60. So oh my God, that sounds fun. It sounds fun. So the people can go there and actually find out more information. That sounds so much fun. And it is. It is like, I think when people really take life and they're unafraid, they make the transitions, they make the decisions, they put the structure and the order in their lives, the right people, everything is going to come together. So I just really can't wait for that book to come out. That title, Jacking Yourself Up for Intentional Transformation. You got to give me the subtitle soon, because I'm all about the subtitles. Like, okay, so what is that about? And so that will be one of the main things that people can do. So thank you so much for joining Speakers Magazine. We look forward to reading about you and revealing the new pictures in the May issue and some other new things that are in the bio that other people don't know about as well. So thank you so much for
You
joining us.
caught that.
I did. I did. I was like, oh, okay. So we're gonna do that. So we'll make sure that in a few days it'll be all out and people can go to speakersmagazine.com. So thank you so much for joining us, Priscilla.
I appreciate you, Pam. You know I do, and I love you.
All right. Love you too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
So that Priscilla is doing the thing. So make sure that you go to wingspanseminars.net, get all the information about her, and she will definitely have that girl's trip of a lifetime. So don't wait. Those who show up, go up. I'm Pam Perry. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I will talk with you soon. God bless. Bye bye.